congratulations. You're all here because you have talent. But now that you're here, we're not interested in your talent. Park your talent somewhere else. Talent is everywhere. He said those who rely on talent will eventually even max out. He said now you're here to learn the craft.
Zero fear about asking the right questions.
This might be half true, that might be true, but that might not be true, and the brain then synthesizes the three. We form a very strong mindset. Things are happening too quickly, and minds are forming judgments. And the mind says, I know, very quickly, without respecting what's really about to go deeper.
Hello and thank you for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Boardroom, a series where we get to know more about companies listed on the Singapore Exchange and their key appointment holders. I'm Natalie Ong, Equity Analyst with CGS International, and with me is CEO of CGSI Singapore, Mr. Malcolm Khoo. In this episode, we turn the spotlight on MindChamps. With a market share of 38%, MindChamps has the lion's share of the Singapore premium preschool market. We are super delighted to have with us today Mr. David Chiem, founder and CEO of MindChamps.
David, what inspired you for a career in childhood education?
So having come from the arts background, it was a very big shift. So to why move into education? And for me, I realized that if art's kind of the mirror to society, without art lacks soul. Art helps us to reflect who we are, for thousands of years. So as a child growing up, having come from the background where, I was looking at where are the different gaps in society, because I really wanted to contribute. And art gave me the lens of telling stories that could contribute to society. Kind of came to me in a way as an intellectual epiphany when I was at the, in 1995, I was at the Australian Film, Television, Radio School. And I remember that, the head of the school came in, he said this, congratulations, you're all here because you have talent. And he said, but now that you're here, we're not interested in your talent. He said, now that you're here, park your talent somewhere else. And I thought, wow, what's that about? You're here now to study the craft. He said, talent is everywhere. Lots of people with talent. He said, those who rely on talent will eventually even max out. He said, now you're here to learn the craft. He said, it's the craft that will lift your talents to heights you never even realized. And I thought, wow, it's the craft, not the what. If you think about it, we all went to a school system 5 days a week, and government all around the different, countries would spend billions on, our education. Essentially, we were learning a lot of the what to learn. It was very rarely that we got to learn the craft, the art of learning how to learn, because the how you learn affects the mindset of the learner. If we learn the art of how you learn, therefore the learner's relationship to learning itself will be far more positive. And in the world of the 21st century, we need to nurture the right mindset about learning. You've got to keep on learning. The real bottleneck to education is not just about the content, which is the what. I thought, wow, you can memorize a whole piece of Shakespeare's Hamlet. And you can actually memorize it and say word for word. But until you go through the craft of learning how to become Hamlet, that content is not part of you. So a student can learn trigonometry or Shakespeare's Hamlet and either love it or hate it. It lies in actually how we engage the students, which is the delivery system. And that the delivery system is more of a creative art form. Education and art should come together. Theatre and education, that's why at MindChamps we say education is theatre. It's about engagement. And when you engage the mind, you change the relationship to learning. And then you build a learner's mindset for life. We announced at SGX that MindChamps has become historically the first early learning education group globally to better patent an approach in US, UK and Australia, synthesizing a unique model of learning. I thought that we must then bring together two other worlds, psychology and brain science. We must understand what's going on in the child's brain today.
Maybe can you share with us, a lot more about, your views on the patent going forward? What do you want to develop out of it? And how much, of it, can actually bring forth the education for the next generation?
In the world of science, technology, to patent a novel, invention, is more kind of common. But in education, it's extremely rare. To patent a unique learning methodology is actually, we've been the first to do so. So why is that so important to us? Because we realize this, that all the research shows that the first 6 years of the child's brain development is the most critical time. The world, in some ways, society, we've been putting things a bit upside down. We've been saying that university is everything. For example, if I was to ask you both, who holds the world's leading, brands or in university space? Yeah, names like what? Harvard, yeah,
Yale.
comes to mind. Princeton, yeah, okay. These names immediately pop up in your mind. But if we to say who holds the world's most respected leading early learning preschool approach globally today, what comes to mind? And kind of like at this
After
juncture-
today, it'll be mine.
Yes, okay, all right. Yes, but truly, yeah, if you were to ask that question to anybody globally, there's a blank. And so from our perspective, the patent was critical because we wanted to create an approach that we can take globally. And the only reason why after 25 years we were able to do so is from empirical primary research of everything we've been doing.
So, Malcolm, do you or any of your friends have sent your children to MindChamps?
My kids are beyond MindChamps age now.
Yes.
But I have many of my friends who have sent their kids to MindChamps. And I think two areas that really have very, very good reviews from parents. I think one is 100% respect, right? And zero fear. As you know, those are the building blocks of, a champion mind, right? A creative mind and a learning mind. And I think when it comes to respect, I understand that, many of my friends have said, respect is respect for the parents, respect for the elders, respect for the teachers, respect for the environment. And more importantly, zero fear, zero fear about asking the right questions and to ask questions respectfully. And I think that's very, very important, for every child. And I think those are very, very good building blocks, towards what every parent would want, right? A champion mind, a creative mind, and a learning mind.
Wow.
And I think those are very things that parents appreciate, and those are things that's communicated to me, through my friends, and many of the kids who come through the doors of MindChamps.
We should get Malcolm, for you to be our kind of
Spokesperson.
Because you're so right about the
Yeah.
that 100% respect
Yeah.
and zero fear.
Yeah.
We live in a world today where, as you know, the child's mind, and as we know, the research shows the first 6 years of character development is everything. Yeah, they say that if you want to know the person, you look at the first 6 years. These days, it's not even the teenage years; it's the 10 age. At 10 or even younger, they see things we never saw. So the human mind today sees things very quickly, and the danger is this: we see a little bit of this, we see a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and this might be half true, that might be true, but that may not be true, and the brain then synthesizes the three. We form a very strong mindset from young, and the child even then says, I know mom or dad because I saw. Did you see? And if you didn't see, you can't debate with something you didn't see. So what's happening is from a very young age, things are happening too quickly and minds are forming judgments. So what happens is when I form a judgment, I know.
Yeah.
And the mind says, I know very quickly without respecting what's it really about to go deeper. And if we're not going deep enough, we could judge things too quickly.
Yeah.
And that's why 100% respect is about nurturing that mindset from young. Like, for example, for Einstein to take Newton's laws further,
Yeah.
he had to respect it. And then when you go deep enough to with respect, not to be afraid, with zero fear, to go wide. And that is to better question. And because in order to take that further, you must be able to not have the fear of, in fact, first and foremost, be confident.
Yeah.
The confidence to question, to celebrate what's uniquely you. And truly, in the world of AI, celebrating what's uniquely you is far more important than ever. Because everything else can be replicated quickly. You know, so that's a mindset we nurture from young. So I'm so glad, Malcolm, that you said your friends been sharing that with you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, David and Malcolm. And that is it for this episode of Beyond the Boardroom. Stay tuned for more exclusive interviews and behind-the-scene insights.
The only difference was, if you're rich, you got private education. The peasants didn't even have it, so therefore you're illiterate. Major revolution. And that's when society thought, content's important. It's no longer about just even thinking. School system has to change. Almost 70% of preschools are owned by individual people.